The point I want to make is that this budget is quite, it looks similar to some other budgets that I have heard, read, and listened to. There are a few things in the budget that I would say are in the right direction. There are a few policies also that deserve further explanation. We also have some omissions that are quite worrying. But overall, I am into this politics with the hope that the ordinary Ghanaian those in the lower class will come up, those in the middle class will go up. So I don't wish them doom. But like I've always maintained, it takes hard work and some honesty. I use some because you can decide to play with the metrics and the indicators, but the bottom line is the opportunities that you are able to create. How many opportunities do you create, or are you able to create for the youth, so that the unemployment situation would be improved? How well are you able to grow the economy such that you are able to make some wealth and be able to pay for social programs? This is where it all trickles down to.
Yeah.
We are not, running the country is not like being an economy class. It's not a master's or PhD program. All your knowledge and skill set must be deployed such that at the end of your tenure, the one in the country today can say that, looking at how much I pay for electricity, looking at the opportunities for my children and grandchildren, things have improved. And that's why I said there are a few things that are hopeful or good in the budget. One classical example is the allocation for the free SHS program. And you see, I am happy that competition has made the Ghanaian the winner. Because when President Kufuor started this free SHS, some were like, take your time. It cannot be done. Take your time. It will take 20 or 30 years. But when President Mahama realized that the country was aligned to such a vision, he's come around. And now even has moved it a step further by saying that it will be put in the Get Fund bill. That is good news. That is using, they say there are many ways of killing a cat. That is using Get Fund through amendment to make a line for free SHS. What it means is that the chance that someone will take it out or will say, I will not do it, is low. We try to achieve it by some law that the education minister tried to introduce, if you remember. But I'm happy that they have used another route. Bottom line is that at least it is captured in one of our laws. And again, I'm happy with the involvement or transformation of some of our leaders, which at the end of the day makes the Ghanaian the winner. Because I remember sometime President Mahama made a comment that, if I had this amount of money, I'll build more schools. But today, we are human beings. You have to evolve. He's evolved to appreciate the value also of supporting, families. If we are paying fees for families, the money, I've heard some who said, let parents who can afford pay fees. If those who can afford are not paying the fees, how do you get them to pay into other things that can bring you money back? If they are not paying the fee at Presec or at Chimota, what is it that the middle or upper class does that an ordinary man does not do, that you can get money from? That's where the innovation comes. The thinking. This is a real work. And these are some of the things that I was expecting in the budget. The road tolls was mentioned. Fine, that is okay. But how are you even going about it? Because going the same way of taking 50 pesos from a vehicle and all that, when are you going to get something significant to improve on our roads? So if you go to other jurisdictions, there are places that you don't drive to. If you choose to drive there, you pay. We should look at some of these things. It will help.
Governor Zagboja, who's the sector minister,
has
stated publicly that they are going to digitalize the
absolutely.
road.
As for the digitalization, it was even mentioned before.
They've gone beyond that. They've actually requested for people to bid.
No. In fact, before the NDC came into office,
you talked about it.
Yes,
yeah.
So these are some of the things that we have to look at. Now, to do an allocation for teacher training allowance, and nursing training allowance. Again, the Ghanaian has won. Because in the past, some created an impression that, let's also go for loans. But some of these programs are social or safety nets. In fact, one of my friends told me that if you watch most of the giants that came from the north in Ghana, most of them were teachers first. And when you go deep into it, it's not like they couldn't do other courses. It's because teaching them was more or less free and even get a stipend. And because of the families, the economic class, they first used that route. And then when they finished, they entered into other programs at universities and realized that they were even sharper than those who started some of those programs. So all those people is a social or safety net that made it possible for them to achieve the highs they have. Sometimes if you've not been there before, you assume that because you can afford fees at Legon, everybody should pay. It's not like that in this world. So I'm happy that the NDC that spoke in a way like, teacher training, why do we spend these monies on them, and has come around and made an allocation. It's good.
But Doc, at the time, and I'm happy you've brought this, but at the time when the policy was introduced, that must have been in Cromer's time, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were trying to motivate and encourage as many people as possible to train as other nurses or teachers. But today, isn't it obvious that we have a glut in terms of teachers and nurses who are every day holding placards and I'm sure when you went there, they came there.
Yeah.
We can't even find a place to post them.
So
we have more than necessary.
There are people.
So does it still make sense that we continue to pay them these allowances?
There are people that have had issues with my senior brother, Napo.
Okay.
Former education minister.
Yes.
There are people that speak of him as if, Napo has this, Napo this. But he's one of the guys that transformed education, especially when it comes to this teacher training.
Okay.
Now in teacher training, you don't get diploma. What they do is degree courses. They've been affiliated to.
NDC.
You mean NDC started it?
Yes.
But under him, what I know is that in the past, when they finished, they were like the nurses. They were connected to the education ministry. So apparently, even the numbers that they used to in school was what was more or less used to push them into the service.
Okay.
So they felt that they were part of the Ministry of Education. That's why we still have nurses doing this picketing and all that.
Yes.
But it's gone down significantly with the teachers because now they reformed the sector such that when you finish, you are like someone went to do degree at UCC.
Yes.
So it was the same legislation that converted polytechnics to technical universities
into degree awarding institutions.
And it made the same legislation converted colleges of education into degree awarding.
So the point I'm making is that it's not necessarily the fact that they were receiving allowances that made them do this picketing and stuff. It is the arrangement. The arrangement was that they were bonded. Nurses are they have some bonding.
So there's
a connection. Yes,
it's like to get a job.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
But over time, due to the numbers, you need to let the nurse be like the engineer. No civil engineer comes to picket at any ministry.
Yes.
They give me a job, I finish engineering.
Yes.
So I think Napodems did a lot of work in that direction.
Right.
And he, in a chat with me, he told me, Doc, you guys must move and see how to do a similar thing at the health sector. So once psychologically the nurse knows that I'm on my own, I'm receiving education and a skill set. When I finish, I'm for the market, either domestic or international market. It also changes the behavior of the person. But if in the past they were part of the ministry, even the numbers they use in school is what is moved, transformed to become their numbers whilst working. I mean, more or less they see you as their employer.
Yeah.
So why am I at home? Take me on board. So that's the point I want to make. But you see, if a safety net or a social net like allowance is to help the very poor at places that you might not have been or are not aware unless they've taken you to, saying that we must reform it or change it, I wouldn't fight you. This world is all about change.
Because you talked about evolution.
Exactly. But you must change being able to achieve the same purpose.
I agree.
So, for example, if you want them to take loans, I remember I struggled a lot when I wanted to take student loan because apart from my mother, we couldn't get anyone to be the signatory to the loan. You know, you have to get a SNIT contributor.
Yes.
So that in case you default.
In fact, 2.
Yeah, 2, exactly. And it was a lot of effort. Now, if you decide that you are changing that arrangement, like we suggested when we were in power, I don't know whether that's what is trending or is happening now. Our suggestion was that take all those things out. The student coming with the Ghana card alone should be enough to get a loan, so that it is when they get a job that you start to deduct.
Yeah, both of you have promised him. I mean, you promised him. And
exactly.
Him. So is guarantor free?
Yes. So my point is that if you are able to do that,
yes,
and you also do it such that before even the student applies,
yes,
or immediately they get admission, the universities have a policy that waits for that money to hit before asking them, because there are some, even to pay the fees is a challenge.
True.
What to eat is a challenge. You know, if you've not been there, you assume, can't you take a car and come to school? But my point is that if you've shown mean lines, that shows that you've removed all barriers for the one who is very poor to have some loan, pay even the first fees, or if government pays the fees, take care of himself. I'm with you. But you should not run away because of your expenditure lines. You know, sometimes a politician wants to cut the expenditure line. He looks at teacher training allowance. Wow, the 1 billion. Should this 1 billion go fiscal space? Then he will tell you, we've come of age. It's not that one. We are not going to let it.
It's going to be a bit more nuanced than that.
Exactly. You know. So that's the point I'm making. The politician or the leader must be compelled by circumstances to be innovative.
Yeah.
What you can evolve, but make sure you still cover the essentials. That's my point.
Okay.
Now, I'm also happy that an allocation was made for women, the girls with the parts and all that. There are little things that goes to cover some people.
You're talking about the free sanitary pads initiative.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And for the sanitary pad allocation to be bigger than even the Women's Bank, it tells you that pads are powerful.
No.
Charlie,
You know, I was hoping now that he's back from sabbatical, I need to go check his sheet. Nothing changed.
It's like a small one. Parts are powerful. You know,
our women are powerful.
Yes, my hope and prayer is that a big chunk of this allocation will be sourced locally.
Okay.
You can decide to buy them from outside, and then you think you are okay because of margins and all that. But this is an opportunity to grow those in that area. In fact, if we do it well, there are others who even start to invest in that area.
Yeah, Doc, it's a brilliant idea.
Yes.
See, we need to check the cost of production.
Mm-hmm.
Look, these companies are talking about how expensive it is to.
There are many. People can cite some of the obstacles or challenges the sector.
Yes.
But bottom line, once they give you a market, at least it's good for those who are in.
Yes.
Currently, there are some who are in the paper market or the sanitary market locally.
Yes. But you know they are complaining.
Yeah, I know.
But about the competition they're getting from China and some other countries.
But there's no sector without complaints.
Okay.
But my point is that, assuming they have 10 complaints, market challenges, as in people to buy, is also one of the obstacles. Yes. Having such a big market in terms of this amount would solve some of the problems.
Yes, I get
in terms of the purchasing power.
Yes.
Once you get such a big customer, it brings in some capital. They can be plowing back, which is to invest back into the industry. It can lead to growth, employment. So there are many value creation that we can have if we source locally. So if we don't source a chunk, and because of timelines, and sometimes because of the numbers, I don't know their capacity. That's why I'm saying that we should make sure that some good percentage is sourced locally, even if we are looking at external people. If we don't do that, we'll lose the real impact of this policy.